Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at criticalblast.com, and it's another time for Adventures in Comic Book Crowdfunding. And tonight, joining us, we have the team from DragonRage, that's Page One Comics. We have Dave Philpott and Jimmy Reyes. I see I messed y'all up there. I switched you around from where we were in the green room. So how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Yeah, doing pretty well. Doing good.
Excellent. So here's what I want to see happen tonight. I want to see $1,100 get funneled into DragonRage before the end of the night.
Me too.
Because that's all you guys are away from meeting your $6,000 goal. You're at $4,900 as of right now. 25 days left. Is that the first 30, or is that the second? Are you on the second 30?
First 30.
Yeah, we're on day 5 of the campaign.
That's like hitting five holes in one, and you're still on the first 9.
Yeah,
this is a done deal. Now this is not the first DragonRage book, though, is it? Or is it?
Yes, first
It is
DragonRage.
Whenever there's a subtitle, I always have to ask, because I'm like, well, was there one before that? It's not number 2, but it's it's a Cradle of Embers. I guess that's Cradle is a good indication that this is where we start.
Uh-huh.
So
that's exactly it. That was what we were going for with the title of that.
Oh, so the last when we hit grave in the subtitle, we're going to know it's the end.
It's all over. We're going to start something else.
Cradle.
Yeah. Either that, or we'll title it Marriage. We'll say.
Yeah. Either way, right? It signals the end.
Signals.
Yes.
That's it. Life's over.
Yes. What's the best birth control? Wedding cake.
Yeah, definitely.
So who am I looking at here? I'm going to go ahead and bring the page up here. And if this little outline here gets in the way of things, I'll just kill it. But right now it looks like it's kind of staying out of the way. You never can tell sometimes when you're designing the overlay for these things whether or not it's going to be like sitting on somebody's face or if it'll just line up around the sides. So I went extra tiny to do that. So we got this girl here with the sword, and she's the one I keep seeing in a lot of your pictures. So let's get into her story, and because I'm assuming it's all about her.
It is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
Nuri
you want to
is.
take it, or you want me to take it?
No, I want you. Yeah, I want you to do this. This is the part of the story. You got this.
This is Nuri, and she is a young woman who can turn into a dragon. It was something that just kind of happened one day, and it's surprisingly that most of the people in the kingdom where she lives, it's not like that people are too freaked out by it. They actually use her as a protector. So she was a servant in the kingdom. She was an orphan, doesn't know a whole lot about where she came from. And now that she has the ability to turn into a dragon, they use her as a weapon. But there are other characters in the story as well. You see the beefy gentleman behind her there. It's a guy named Thrago. And if you can see, he's kind of got some dragon-esque qualities about him as well. So the story is about, right now, it kind of just starts with her already having been able to turn into a dragon and in the middle of doing her thing, protecting her kingdom and all of that. And we start to see some characters that know who she is from her past coming into play. And she's going to start to slowly realize that, as the title might imply, DragonRage, that even though she's trying to protect the people in the kingdom where she lives, that she might end up being one of their biggest threats. Aha.
Now she doesn't come by this ability by exposure to like dragon litter, does she?
Dragon litter. No,
Okay.
It'd be better to say she was part of a dragon litter.
I got you. So that's very cool. Yeah, to be able to transform into a dragon. Is this an at-will kind of thing, or?
Yeah, she has the ability to turn into a dragon. It's not something that she can she could turn it on and off, but it ends up having some repercussions for her, because as she finds that when she's in the dragon form, that she loses some of her humanity, and she thinks like a dragon. And, again, the people that she protects, the people that she cares about, she still cares about them and everything. But the more that it happens, the more that she's finding, wait a second, there's another side to this thing, and it's not something that you might want to just do willy-nilly, because it might have repercussions.
So I'm guessing the longer she's a dragon, the less likely she is to come back from
That's
it.
exactly it. Mm-hmm.
Does it work the opposite? The longer she's human, the less likely she is to feel dragony?
So I think that the way that we've designed this character, who she is, it's becoming part of the fabric of who she is. And it's one of those things where, look, she never knew that she was going to have this ability, but now that she has it and she's able to transform into a dragon, does that change her life so much that that's going to be who she is, and further down the road, is it something that maybe one day she never turns back into a human?
That would be scary because, I was thinking how it used to be with Wolverine. Remember when he would go into his berserker rages, and you always worried he won't come back out of this when this is the end of the road for him.
Right.
So I imagine she's going into the DragonRage, hence the title, that she would be very worried about not coming back from it. I'm always curious about characters that are bispecial, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You're human and you have this thing you turn into. There was a really, really interesting werewolf story that I read in college in literature class, and I wish to God I could remember the title of it. And it's told from the wife's perspective because her husband is the one who transforms, and she's had suspicions, and she finally wakes up in the middle of the night, and in the morning, and there he is standing beside where they sleep, and he's just this monster, and she kills him. And then you realize that there was no spoken word during the whole thing, and the entire dialogue is from the perspective of the female wolf that he mated with. So he was a werewolf, but she was wolf, and she saw him turn to human, aka the monster from her perspective.
Right. I got you.
It makes me wonder, whenever there's characters like this, what are you more attracted to, another human or another dragon, or does it matter?
So that's a great question because, initially one of the things that Jimmy and I talked about is when the idea came about, it was the idea of a girl who could turn into a dragon, but we wanted it to be so much more than just that novelty there. And we knew that we wanted to have a love element in the story, because I guess he and I are both at a stage in our lives where, we can embrace our manliness and still appreciate having a love story in the comic as well. And, that's something that we will see as the story progresses, because there is a character who she's very close to and that she has feelings for, but you're 100% correct. Maybe because of, the fact that she can turn into this other creature, maybe she's going to be attracted to something else.
Yeah. Now, if she were a savage dragon, we know exactly what road that would go down. And
right.
I trust you guys to tell a better story than this. Here's an interesting question. This beautiful image I got pulled up here is by David Reyes, who's the guy down there in the bottom square.
Jimmy Reyes is the
Jimmy.
David Finch is our cover.
Don't get old. That's what I was doing. I was reading both names side by side, and I'm like, Jimmy Reyes. And yet you felt the need or had the opportunity to go out and get David Finch to do a cover. When you've got perfectly great artwork here already to draw in readers. How did that come about?
Well, I used to be a freelance inker, and I used to work traditionally, and I got to work with guys like David Finch. He was one of the pencilers that I work with, and through the course of working together, we also became friends. We stay in contact and everything. So when I said, that Dave Philpott and I putting together this book, for DragonRage, Dave Finch offered up, a cover for us, and Dave's got a huge following, and there, it would have been foolish to turn it down. He's got so many fans that have really embraced this project, and so he's brought over a lot of his fans. They jumped on this right away.
It's good to have friends like that.
Yeah. We, as for me, working in the industry, I had always worked in comic books part-time because I had a different career, but I still would work in there. And so over time, I got to work on books like Marvel Action Avengers. I did Ghostbusters, did a lot of different things, worked with a lot of different people, but did about 2-3 books a year. And so, keeping those contacts is really paid off now that I'm creating our own project. Because now I go back to those friends and I'm like, hey man, do you remember that favor I did for you, back in 1994?
Yeah. Cashing that in with interest now.
Yeah.
Which Ghostbusters did you work on?
It was through it was Legion. Legion, I think was the name of it. It was through 88 miles per hour.
Okay. But I mean, which version of the Ghostbusters? Was it the Filmation Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters, the movie Ghostbusters?
The movie Ghostbusters. Yeah, it had all the same characters from the movie.
Okay, because they did a cartoon that was based on the movie characters, and then of course there was actually a Saturday morning live action show called The Ghostbusters that Lou Scheimer did.
I used to love that show.
Oh wow!
And that's why when there was Filmation's Ghostbusters, it was totally different characters. And everyone was like, "Oh, look at these people ripping off Ghostbusters," and Lou was like, "Nope, they were supposed to be the same show, but they couldn't get the rights down." I mean, when Lou approached them, said, "Hey, you guys are doing a movie," and they're like, "Yeah, but you did a cartoon." He's like, "Nope, live action." And like, oh, so they worked a deal with Columbia to get a percentage of it. And apparently, did you know that Ghostbusters made no money? Because if it had made money, he would have gotten a percentage of that based on the contract, but it never made a profit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because, fans when you build up Ghostbusters, they fall in love with the original characters, and that's what they want to see. So you try mixing things up and changing things. It's harder for the audience to accept it because they're used to the world of doesn't say DragonRage, but the world of Ghostbusters. We've gotten used to it. We feel that it should be this one particular way, but a lot of creators like to stretch out and do that. With like Star Wars, they like to expand and do that, and just sometimes it's a little harder for fans to to transition.
And the characters that fans think of now are, of course, the movie ones. They don't think of Spencer, Kong, and Tracy.
Yeah, Larry Storch.
Larry Storch and Forrest Tucker.
That's right.
I have an interview somewhere where he talks about casting them. But what one of the not a cool thing, a very sad thing actually, was that after the movie came out, then they did the animated Filmation Ghostbusters, which was Spencer, Kong, Jr. and Still Tracy, and someone. Maybe a couple of someone's got very upset at Lou Scheimer because they thought that he had taken the movie Ghostbusters and turned the black guy into the gorilla, and they thought he was being very racist about it.
Yeah, like, somebody just didn't know they didn't know the original show. I mean, when I was a little kid, I used to watch that and like Dr. Shrinker and Electra Woman and Dyna Girl and all that stuff. Yeah,
my
man.
brother from another mother.
Yeah. So, when the movie Ghostbusters, when I first heard about it, that's what I thought it was going to be, was like the original TV show. And so for me, it was the other way around. I had no idea what this thing was that I was looking at, because it wasn't the Ghostbusters I remembered from being a kid.
Ghostbusters trivia, all the things that you'll find on this channel. Trust me, whenever you come to watch a live stream at Critical Blast, we're going to talk about everything except what you guys are bringing. For a while. So you got this gorgeous David Finch cover, and there are going to be variations of it, and we'll see that as we go down here. And then, we got the Jimmy Reyes cover. Pronouncing my words out, because I got David over here and I got David in front of me. Jimmy Reyes, not Jaime Reyes, Jimmy Reyes.
Jaime.
And then this Joe Wills cover too.
Yeah, what we're doing with page one is that we're using some of the connections that I've made throughout the industry. I've got a lot of friends that are in the industry, artists, editors and different people, publishers. So I'm using those connections to bring attention over to page one and this property. And then what we want to do is to have a platform that can, sustain itself and make enough profit where we can hire and develop new talent. So we reach and find these people from our viewers, either from the community of artists that we've created, And so people, oh look, I can grab Nuri, and grab her sword. It's
It's
like
better like this.
oh yeah, it's fine. And so what we're doing is we're discovering new talent. Joe Wills is one of those talents that we found. Brought him over. We gave him a cover. He's part of a project with David Finch. We also found 2 interior artists, and we're doing a backup story. So we bring them in, we help develop them, get them in there, get them exposure. They get paid for this, of course, but we want to continue doing that throughout every issue of Dragon Rage.
So you guys are funding more than just a book. You guys are funding a publishing house.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I've been waiting to see happen here, because I see so many people saying, I'm doing my comic and I'm doing my comic. I'm like, wouldn't you all be better served if you could all work under one, we produce this comic and have not necessarily a shared universe, but at least a potential for crossing things over.
Yeah.
But have people say, I read X comics. I read page 1 comics. And everyone knows immediately, like when you say DC, oh yeah, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. You say Marvel, it's like, oh yeah, the Avengers, Spider-Man, X-Men. And to that end, I guess the next thing I would ask is what other books does page 1 have? And I don't have to ask that because you actually have. You've shared that page with me.
Through the magic of the internet.
I keep losing my mouse. When you got 2 monitors and then you click on things, you got DragonRage. Previews of all our titles. There's one.
Yeah. If you click on that, you'll actually get to see some really cool new technology. Maybe even the future of comics. I don't know, but so what we do is we create these 3D flip books that you can flip through online. They're absolutely free, and it gives you an idea of what the world of Dragon Rage is going to look like. But this was our initial concept of it. Story itself hasn't really changed much since then, and the art is pretty much the same. So this is just kind of a sneak peek. It does have lettering, does have a story in there. People can read it, and it's cool, man. You can flip through this thing. It's got everything but the new comic page smell. It's got the noise when you flip the pages.
I thought I saw that. Where am I?
It reminded me of Myst when I first did it. You remember the sound of the pages in the game Myst? I don't know if you ever played that or not.
Yeah, I used to love playing Myst. Yeah, so people can read it, get an idea of what Dave Philpott's style is like, and the response we've gotten back. I mean, we presented this out there. People have come over and have read this thing. I mean, thousands of times have hit this thing about 1,000 plus times. I mean, the number of people and then the emails that we get and the response that we're getting, everyone's like, I really like what I read. And on top of that, we also have the synopsis of the story, like a quick outline of it on the campaign page to give people a better idea. And they're really liking it. I think that's what's really selling the Dragon Rage. We've had, like, we're new, as you said, like most people are out there trying to put their books. So we're new to the crowdfunding community. And the warm reception that we've gotten from this crowdfunding community, they've just really embraced us. They're helping us out. We've had guys from like David Finch going out there and promoting on his live stream. Dan Frega brought us on his stream. We've had Ethan Van Sciver give us a shout out. Just it's just a wide range of just a wide group of people.
You guys are slumming it tonight.
And we're what?
You're slumming it tonight.
Oh, no. We know we're in, like, you're showing us support. I mean, we're so excited about being here with you. And honestly, be honest with us, it doesn't matter. Anybody out there, if you have a stream and you want us on there, we'd love to present Dragon Rage to your audience, even if it's just one guy. We don't care, because our girl, whoever's watching, because that one person is so important to us. Everybody's very important. We want to present this to anyone that we can, because that one person tells someone else, shares it with someone else at work. The thing grows faster than you think, from just that one person.
It really does. Now, obviously, I've been looking at black and white pages here. Is the interior of this book a black and white book, or is it a colored book?
No, it's full color. We're very, very fortunate and lucky, because I even though I have connections and people that I've made relationships with throughout the industry, there's no guarantee that they still want to do this and work with me or even have the time. But it wasn't hard for us. We did this together. We put it together. Dave Philpott story idea, put some art, and we had Andrew Dawhouse, who colors for DC Comics, and he colored Bloodshot for Valiant, and he's a big popular colorist, came over and said, "I want to be part of this project." And it's so encouraging to have these people come over and say, "You know what? I want to be part of this. What can I do to help?"
I'm seeing that more and more with professionals coming over and helping out the crowdfunding side, not going off and doing their own crowdfunding, but working with people who are already doing the independent crowdfunding thing. And I know there's still a lot of the professionals who are like, oh, no, don't associate with them because, there's been some crowdfunding people there have been some crowdfunding jerks. And, they know who they are. But when you know the person, not necessarily the movement, if you know the person who's doing the book and you're a professional, you're a lot more open to saying, no, wait a second, I know this guy and his book is about this and he's not about that and he doesn't do this. I will help this guy and they'll be more immune and inured to any slings and arrows that their peers might toss at them. And I'm seeing that as a widespread movement. I'm seeing more and more pros come out and help people who have worked with them in the past, like you have, Jimmy, on doing inking with other books. So I'm hoping that we're going to see a lot more, bring some people out of retirement, for crying out loud. There's people who are not doing comics that did comics in the 80s and 90s that should be able to see this as an opportunity to come out and do something. I'd love for somebody to find Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and just say, hey, you want to do a comic book again?
Oh, man, his Vampirilla work. Oh, God. I have it actually hanging right above my I have a sketch that he did, and I fell in love with his work years and years ago. I love it.
His everything is just absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not what I want to do. I wanted to bring the page back up, and I removed.
Yeah, who wants to look at us? Good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We need to be postage stamp size.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Okay, put that back up there just for a little while. I keep burning Jimmy's hat.
Oh, yeah. Touch the fire.
So
but
look at the tiers here. The feature tier is, of course, the David Finch cover.
Yeah.
That's the $30 one.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, grab that because it is a rare opportunity. It isn't often that you get Dave Finch, working on something fantasy based and going to be part of it. So now he's kind of expanding. We brought, like I said, we're new to the crowdfunded. This is our first crowdfunding project, and we brought Dave Finch with us. And we're trying to bring over as many people as we can and much talent we can. We've gotten media coverage. What is it? Bleeding Cool has covered us. First Comics News, several others. And what we're doing is, that it's great that they're starting to take a notice and attention that this is the new thing. This is what fans are reading. They're reading independent creators. They're supporting independent creators. So, if we can bring over more attention that way, it's going to be great for everybody who's a part of the crowdfunding community. And,
there's something about crowdfunding and participating in these live streams and watching the funding go up that it takes the sting out of the cost, because these books do cost more than, a book you would go and pick up at your LCS. And somebody who might imagine a world where DragonRage, Cradle of Embers, is sitting on the shelf at your local comic shop and there's a $30 sticker on it. That's going to be, something most people would pass by, but through the magic of crowdfunding, it's like, no, we're going to make this thing happen. We are going to make this book happen. And you become a part of it.
Yeah, I think it becomes an idea, right? It's like you're not buying a book at this point. What you're doing is you're buying into someone else's vision and you're supporting. And I think if you love comics, if you love art, and you genuinely want to help support the medium of comic books, that the people who support crowdfunding, that's exactly what they're doing. What they're doing is, I think they're saying, if we didn't do something like this, how long would it take before the industry of comics to have the same audience as like poetry? It just starts to decline more and more. I think this is part of a way just to keep the legacy alive.
Yeah. Now, exactly what are they going to get when they get the book? Obviously this tier here it's the book. It's the David Finch cover, but I don't know if there's any stretch goals in here. We'll get to that in a little while to see if things, because eventually what happens is you order the book and you get, a book and some stickers and a poster and a print and a coaster and a kitchen sink and all that kind of stuff. If you set the thing up like that, I know that Jim Ballin's Kickstarter, I ordered the book and I ended up getting keychains and a second book and a sticker and everything else. So it was like, that was kind of cool. It was a surprise. Those nice little perks.
Yeah, we're throwing in all our cigarette butts and everything in there.
That'll work.
Jimmy was going to give away a shrimp from last night, I think.
Yeah, I had shrimp for dinner.
We've already got these little Ziploc baggies here.
That's right. They just go right in there.
And the reason they've got these Ziploc baggies, I will show my camera here, is that they've already got their buttons ready to go. That's the worst representation of the buttons that they've probably ever had, but they have buttons. So,
but it's perfectly fine. What it is you could choose what team you're on. Are you Team Nuri or Team Thrago? They're two different sides there, and so yeah, and so it's just it's really it's not about like, well, I mean it is like a good evil battle, but which is good, which is bad. I mean, it's based on your perspective, and it's whichever character you relate to. So we have merchandise for both.
Very nice. So this is Nuri then that on this cover.
Yeah, that's Nuri as a dragon.
Cat. So. And
Jack. That's Jack the Fennec Fox.
The what fox?
Fennec. He's a Fennec Fox.
A Fennec Fox. Is that a real animal or is that something that was made up?
No, that's a real animal. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to have to go Googling for Fennec Foxes.
Yeah. They kind of look like they bred a Chihuahua and a fox together and got the Fennec Fox.
Nice.
Yeah. And I just wanted to cover here when you were asking earlier, like what with the crowdfunding is that they get to be part of this project. It really what Dave and I have done is we've put in the work and we said we don't need to get paid. Let's put this project together. But this project wouldn't come to life or be a possibility without those people out there, without backers, without those that have interest. So the fans, the viewers, everybody out there, they're the ones making DragonRage possible. So you get to be in something much bigger than just let's get this guy's comic out.
Yeah, and I don't mind throwing $25-$30 at a book anymore, because once I've seen the quality of some of the work. Now, if I see, obviously there's still everybody and their brother tries to crowdfund a book, and they say, well, if they could do it, I could do it, and you get some pages up there, and it's basically some guy sat down with his pen like me and said, look, hey, it's Super Guy. And the artwork is somewhat better than that. And you're like, yeah, no. And that's why they don't get funded. But then you see, stuff like this. It's you guys are going to get funded. There's no question about it. You're only $1,100 away, and you've got 25 days to go. You've done. I'll let them do the math. 81% of the work in 6 days, 5 days.
Day 5. Yeah, we're in day 5 right now.
Yeah, so you're coasting.
Yeah, I think the wonderful thing about crowdfunding is that it isn't really necessarily so much based on your skill. I think it's more about your passion, your love for this project, and you get people that see your enthusiasm, see your dedication, and they back you for that. They support you in that way, and I think that's wonderful. You don't have to be this big superstar artist, as long as you've got that drive, that passion, and you're really sincere in what you're doing, and people will recognize that and back you.
Oh, you got Don Chen on Facebook here popping in. Say this looks very nice. Don, thanks for popping in. Check the stream out. Greg, thank you for coming in too. I meant to thank you earlier for that. Don Chen, of course, the man behind the adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters.
Cool.
I always tell the story that no, I won't tell the story this time. Never mind. No one gets to know the story. There was going to be a crossover with a very popular crowdfunded frog that didn't come to be because of people's reactions to other crossovers that were going on. So maybe still it could happen, but the hamsters are going to go it alone for a while. So $30 for the David Finch cover. 43 people have claimed that already. February 2021. So I'm guessing that most of the work is done on the book already, and you'll be going to printers like next month or something.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, the only thing left to do now is to have it colored. I do have about 4 pages left to draw. So Dave, Philpott, and I, we said, you know what, this is something that we want to do. We don't expect people to back us with just a pinup. You know, we want to put some work in. We want to make sure this is something that we can do and complete. So we're yeah, just 4 pages left, and then when you back us, that $6,000 goal, that isn't there. That goal does not have any budget in there for any profit at all for Dave and I. That's just to pay the colorists, the other artists that have we've brought on board, pay the printers, and then pay for shipping and everything. So yeah, that's just like you said, we could be have the book completed by next month.
Now, do you plan on it? Do you plan on going on in demand with it, or are you going to just cut it and ship it?
Yeah, right now we're thinking we're leaning a little more towards cut it and ship it, because I don't want people to have to wait that have backed the book. It's most of the reason why we went through and did all the artwork and the stories and everything before starting the campaign. It is slated for February 2021, but that's just to give us room in case something happens. Most likely we're going to get this book months early to people. But the in-demand thing, honestly, this is our first campaign, so I honestly couldn't say no for sure, but I mean, maybe it's a possibility.
Yeah, you're right, though. It doesn't really cover any of the profit, getting 6,000, and that's with you doing your own art.
Yeah.
I brought this up before when the crowdfunding is being done by the writer, and just the writer. $6,000 is, if that's the goal, that's probably what he's already out of pocket, because he had to pay the artist up front. So he's just trying to break even with the goal there, and hoping to make a profit after that. Most of the people doing this are doing it not for, well, I don't think they expect to make a profit. I think they expect to make a comic, so they can always look on their shelf and say, I did that.
Right.
That was mine. Which I would love to do.
I think that's a great reason, though, a great goal. I think it's really nice when you have that kind of passion in it. That means you're putting in a little bit of yourself. It's a goal and a dream, so you're genuine when you're putting in the best work you can. When it's something you want to market, then you're just putting something out there and trying to make it appeal to a particular demographic or all demographics, and it just kind of loses that kind of quality, especially to the fans. I think they can identify the difference between the two.
Yeah, I agree. If you're just doing it for a paycheck, it'll show in the artwork. It starts to feel phoned in. Oh yeah, I'll go ahead and say it. John Romita Jr. is doing that with action, but he did a lot better job in the Batman Detective 1027 book, because it was a better story. He was excited by it. God, I keep looking at this dragon. I'm like, I wish this was like a 3D printed item.
We almost did. We almost had it. We had an offer. What we did was, as we were making the book, we documented it. So we do live streams. We started with the conceptual art when this book started from concept all the way through up to where we are now. It's all been documented through our streams, so people could go in, watch us as we're working and as this developed. But one of the things that came from that was we had a marketing company come over and say, we want to market, we want to have merchandise for you. And then the other one was another company said, we want to offer you 3D prints. What we'll do is we're willing to print these up for you at no cost. You don't pay us until it's funded. And so it sounds like a great deal. But the only thing is that when you got new property like this, and I'm sure Don out there can probably tell you this as well, but whenever you put out new property, people haven't fallen in love with the characters yet. They don't know the characters yet.
It's something better for a second campaign.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So in the second campaign, I think we're going to take them up on that offer and do some 3D printed dragons or of Nuri down there with the David Finch pose.
I know a guy who does 3D printings. He also does his own crowdfunded comics. He's done a couple of books already. One of them that came with a 3D print of his character.
Yeah.
I did a stream with him, and he showed me the 3D print for his next book that he's going to make as a perk. He's going to do the spaceship that's in the book.
That's the guy that offered us the 3D print.
Taken up on it. His stuff is cool. His spaceship is 3 freaking feet long, and it comes. I'm like, oh my God! Yeah, I signed up the mailing list. I don't know what it cost to get that perk, but
he's a great guy. His book is very unique in the storytelling that he did and format. We were really impressed with it.
That's a Joe King versus the universe. I think I forget. It's Joe King. Go look up the Joe King. They're all Joe King verses. And if you see the guy that looks like Grover, that's Joe King. So we just I'm gonna refresh this page here. Why does it take so long to refresh a page? I've got good internet. Okay, we're at 49.55 now, so we no longer need $1,100 to close out the night. Thank you, Jalapeno Milk. Went in and backed that bench cover.
Oh man, thank you so much. If you take a snapshot of your number that you backed, and if you tweet that out for us on Twitter, and you tag me at Jimmy Reyes Art or Dave Philpott on there, or Page One Comics, tag us on that social media. We want to do a screenshot, and we'll do a shout out for you on our stream, because we are so happy to have everyone on there. And Stefani Rene is a Brazilian artist. He's also got his own book, and it's so nice because to meet other creators and the support that each of us are showing each other. So he's been helping support us get the word out. We're helping him get the word out on his book. It's amazing, this whole crowdfunding community, the way they band together. We've really been enjoying this whole venture.
I've been making a list of the things that I've got to get out there and back, and of course Thomas Moria is on there. I would like to get I'd like to get Stefani on here and talk. I don't know how that would work yet, though. I think he uses an interpreter when he talks, and that would be an adventure for me. But I would be very willing to do it. I'd love to do it because I love the book.
He's very, very talented. Very talented. He's digital, like I am. I've transitioned into digital now, and he's a great digital artist as well.
So let me look at these other tiers here. Now you got the $5 Feed a Dragon. Hey, 3 people have actually claimed that. So they believe in it enough that they don't even care if they get the book. They just want to help get it out there.
Oh yeah, even though you might look at it and go, well, they just gave $5, but that $5 could have been spent somewhere else. And the fact that they believe in us that much that they're saying, you know what, I'm not asking for anything in return. I want to give you guys this $5. Those 3 people are just as important to us as anyone else who's backed any other tier.
I love people like that. That's why we have a tip jar down in the description. If you read past the first link, which is go to Indiegogo and click on that and back this project, and then you can see all our T-shirts and our books. And at the very bottom, if you don't want anything, we got a tip jar. That's because we don't have super chats. We're a few thousand hours away from having that opportunity. And quite honestly, if we had the opportunity, we probably wouldn't get any anyway. I'm not a frog master. I don't claim to have that kind of charisma on the internet. Here's the Jimmy Reyes cover for $20. You're selling yourself short, Jimmy. Your cover is at least as good as David Finch's, and certainly as good as Joe Will's. And that's not putting either of them down. That's saying that you're on an equal level with that. So,
thank you.
I could have seen any of these all going for the $30 one, or bring them all together at the middle 25. I get though that David Finch brings some gravitas with the name recognition.
A little bit, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, when we made the decision to make mine $20, was that we were trying to offer something to people that because right now there are those out there who $20 means it could be a tough choice to separate from $20. Everyone's going through different situations in their lives right now with the way the economy's working. So we want to make it to the point where I don't need to get paid for this. We can make my cover much more affordable. And I know that when you're doing a campaign, you're trying to put your tiers at prices that are higher so that it brings in more money, so that you get funding, ensure you reach the funding that you need. But we took a chance and we said, we're going to try to make it as affordable as possible. And so we put one of the covers. I didn't feel it would be fair to do the Joe's cover or the Dave Finch cover at a lower price because I don't want to offend them. So we did mine. Yeah.
Sure. I'm scrolling real fast through it here because Jalapeno Milk has asked, is there a print of the Finch cover in black and white? He'd like to study it. So I was looking to see if that was going to be one of the tiers, or see the print set. The print set is obviously in color. We can see the Finch Reyes.
the only way to get the David Finch work where you can actually study it and really see it, in all its detail, is to get the black and white artist proof edition of the comic book, because that has his work in there, and I was Dave Finch's inker, so you get to see the way we work together. It's right there. You would scroll down just a little bit. That's
Yeah,
right.
I can see the little picture of it here. I was looking to see if there's a bigger picture, but
Oh yeah, just right up there in those 4 pictures. It's on the top left. But yeah, that's the artist proof edition, and what that is, that the entire comic book, it's exactly the same as the other comics. It's just minus the color, so that if you appreciate artwork and you want to see all the line work, all the hyper detailed, fancy line work that we've put in there with hours and hours of work to do so. But it's a great one. It's really popular. We've made it very limited, and I'm surprised at how many people want a black and white comic.
Yeah, and you have actually 3 versions of the David Finch cover. You've got the basic $30 one. You've got the artist study one here, the black and white. And then you have the Virgin one, which I think is still the color one with the logo taken off and the trade dress taken off.
Yes. Yeah. Well, like I said before, we were doing streams, and we were starting to show people the progression, how we were building up to the campaign. And we had people ask along the way, are you going to have a Virgin cover, and are you going to have the artist edition? So we listen to our viewers. We listen to the consumer out there. They help shape and develop this campaign.
So the next tier down after your cover is the crew neck T-shirt. You can get the no book, just a T-shirt. But now, what's the cover on this one? Oh, that's the David Finch cover.
Mm-hmm.
Bad eyes. I'm sitting here squinting at the tiny little picture, and I got a great big monitor. So that's cool. If you want to get a T-shirt, 3 people have wanted the T-shirt. Probably an add-on. They probably and then decide to get the T-shirt.
Yes. What it is that what you see there is you only see 3 people because they just came in and just got the shirt. So we have that option available. If you just want the shirt, nothing else, you have that option. So 3 people have grabbed that. But the add-on, you won't see the number of add-on people because that's on the checkout. They click the add-on. That's kind of a private thing that they get to do. Okay. And it's very popular. A lot of people are going for that shirt. It's also available in any size. So this marketing company that we're working with, a merch company, I keep saying marketing, but with this merch company that we're working with, they offered us just about, I think, every size. Is that right, Dave? I think it's
it's unlimited. We can do just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
So David, we haven't heard a lot from you a little bit here, and you're the writer.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk a little bit about story a little bit more. How long have you been sitting on this idea of Nuri and lycanthropy dragonology?
Well, let's see. What time is it? Seriously, this was something that we came up with. Probably the genesis of the idea came up in April. It was an idea. Jimmy and I have known each other for about 15 years, and we have been back and forth looking for different ideas to work on, and the timing was just never right. And something happened. He threw the idea out, and I didn't laugh at it. And we said,
he didn't laugh too hard.
Not too hard. And we just started developing it, and it took on a life of its own. And by the end of May, I already had the first script done, finalized, and I sent it to him actually on my birthday, May 26th.
The day after mine.
Oh, cool. Okay. So we've had the idea. We bounced around some of the things that we wanted to include and the things that we wanted to see in it. And then from there, it's just, you know how it is that sometimes you just walk around with it in your head and it just becomes a part of who you are. You find yourself throughout the day thinking about the story and it starts telling itself to you. And that's pretty much what happened with this.
That's how I write all my books. I don't do comics. I can't do comics, but because it's my stream and I get to shill what I want.
Right.
I am the writer on this series called The Destroyer.
Oh, nice.
Remo Williams Adventures. So
wow.
I don't sell them on here. Go to Amazon, buy them for yourself. They come from Destroyer Books. I work for them.
Did you say Remo Williams?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. The movie was like the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, the movie was based off the books. This is like the 153rd book in the Destroyer series since 1971.
Wow.
So I wasn't writing them then. I'm on it now.
Right, gotcha.
Jalapeno Milk has asked about that black and white book. That I'm assuming the David Finch cover. Obviously, he wants to know if the interior is black and white or if it's just the cover.
Yeah, it's the entire comic book. It's a 32-page comic book. So all throughout the entire book in there, it's going to be in black and white. There's only 5 pages. There's a backup story that's 5 pages long. That one came in and painted in color. So that one most likely that may stay black and white, but the rest of it's going to be, in color, but the rest of it's going to be in black and white.
Okay, so the backup story being color, but for the easy memory, black and white cover, black and white story.
Yeah, black and white comic. It's
and then Don is asking if you guys have played any fantasy video games like Skyrim or Baldur's Gate.
Big fan of fantasy. Both Dave and I. I don't really get to play video games anymore, but I do know those games. I know Skyrim, Elder Scroll, and all the Skyrim, Baldur's Gate. They're on number 3 now. They got a new one coming out, and they're great. They're great fantasy games. I love that. I also love the Lord of the Rings series video games. But no, I don't really get to play those.
I watch my son play. My son played Skyrim forever and ever. I've never played Baldur's Gate, but growing up, I used to play a lot of D&D. A lot of Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. But say that the characters, Jimmy and I really made an effort to not make the characters anything like anything that's happened previously. We wanted to kind of start fresh and do our own take on, because in D&D you'll have like the Dragonborn characters, and it would have been really easy to just go and grab the reference material and just start kind of ripping off what their powers are, abilities, and all that. But we didn't want to do that. We wanted to have something that's totally unique.
And I know a lot of people who actually do use either the Dragon manuals or the Champions manuals and roll up characters just, for character creation and say, okay, how would I write this kind of a character? And they've, used those rules to build their character power set. And it's, if it's something that helps get the fire stoked, then go with it. Yeah. And because you guys went ahead and explained the whole black and white interiors and the black and white cover, Jalapeno Milk went back in and got the black and white one too.
Yo, Jalapeno Milk, man, you are coming through, buddy. That's awesome.
That's some hot milk.
That's the best. Did you see that, Jimmy? Jalapeno Milk said, "Look, man, just one comic ain't good enough. I'm gonna have to come in and get this other one too." Wow,
man. It's really, really inspiring to just see the type of feedback we're getting from people. And like Dave just said, both Dave and myself, we are, I'm not influenced by anything fantasy that has been done in comic books. All my inspiration from fantasy has been taken from outside influences, and we're bringing those in and trying to do something new and fresh to the fantasy genre in DragonRage.
Now,
what Jimmy's really saying is that he doesn't want to read the books. He'll watch the movies.
yeah.
You got all the people standing around the table here saying, really, I went out and bought the special edition of Game of Thrones so I could get this City of Westeros 3-dimensional. Cost me 300 shekels.
Yeah. I hated the way it ended.
Yeah.
What they're saying.
So we need to do something new, guys. We're going to make our own story.
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
Exactly. So, Jimmy, you're the artist on this, which means you get to go in to do all the character design, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And these guys are wearing some pretty elaborate costuming, which if I were the writer telling the artist that this guy wears this and is designed like this and it has all these things on it, and if I were the artist, I'd be thinking, yeah, go get yourself stuck up a chimney somewhere, pal, because you got to be producing this and you've got to be design accurate every time you show it.
Yep. Yeah. Well, luckily for me, Dave just kind of gives a broad description in there for me. He just says there's Thrago and he's got, these other 4 henchmen, and I get to design them and put what I want to put in there. One of the things as an illustrator is that you don't want to get too elaborate in design, because then you have to draw it panel by panel. You have to make sure that there's continuity throughout, it's consistent throughout the series or throughout that first issue. But I'm also influenced by, George Lucas, Doug Chiang, when they created the outfits and design for Star Wars. They borrowed from different cultures and combined and made their own type of look and design, especially for like, Padme and that whatever that planet was that she was on. Naboo, yeah. So that's always inspired me, always been in my mind. And I said, well, Dragon Rage, when you think of fantasy, most of the time people think of European fantasy or European medieval. I also love anime. I love anime. I love manga. These guys put in pink hair, green hair on people. They just, it's always short and spiked out or something. Mm-hmm. And they do their own thing, and so that's what I want to do. I want to put visually, make these characters and appealing to me, in the way that the style that I like.
Yeah, and there's no way that I would like pull an Alan Moore and then write, 5 pages of character description for a single panel. Jimmy's right. Usually what I do is I'll say, I might give a vague idea, or if I have something specific, we've probably talked about it ahead of time. So at that point I could just go, remember the character we talked about, and then he rolls with it. Usually it's actually the other way around. When I see, like the first time I saw this panel, my first thought was, okay, now I know who these people are and they're going to have a story,
That's kind of what happened to Thrago, which is a guy 100%. Without the shirt. Yeah. It was so Dave designs him, and originally he was just gonna, he was gonna make it past the first issue, and then so I sketched him out, drew him out, and he liked the way he looked. But it wasn't until the fan reaction, we put him on the stream, and the reaction that we got from everybody, we got fan art that came in long before this campaign. So we've still received fan art long before we started doing an open call, but the response that we got, we both said, we can't get rid of this character. He's,
that's like with the Remo Williams series again, is he's an assassin, but he does have some recurring villains. He can't have many because if everybody keeps coming back, he's not very good at his job.
True.
Yeah. But there are some that are just so good that you've got to find a way as a writer. It's like, okay, everybody wants to see this guy again, but he got killed. How did he survive that? Don Chen asked about Old School Gauntlet. Don, I play Old School Gauntlet. In fact, I just played Old School Gauntlet 30 minutes before coming on this live stream because we've got an up game that has Defender and Gauntlet on it.
That is so cool.
Got it from my son who wanted the Rampage and the Joust games. I'm like, ooh, it comes with Gauntlet. What's Gauntlet? Let me show you.
Yeah.
And I just keep hitting start on it to make my health up bigger and higher because I never got past very many levels in college. I ran out of quarters. So the Joe Wills cover is sitting here on the screen while we're looking at this table design. Okay, I'm just making sure that the cups didn't say Starbucks on them anywhere.
They have the page one logo.
Yeah.
Get the P1 logo on them.
One of them should. Somebody should be having a page one logo cup or something. That last season. That's when you knew they just didn't give a flip anymore.
No, they just phoned it in or whatever.
When do we get killed?
Yeah.
The Joe Wills cover is $25. You've had 6 people claim that one. It's got to be tough on these people if they don't claim multiple covers because they're all so good looking.
Yeah. The what you do want to get that Joe Wills cover because it is a connecting cover. It's going to connect to our second IP that we're going to run called Veil of Night. And Joe Wills is the artist on Veil of Night. So we had him do a Dragon Rage left side cover, and Veil of Night will have the right side of the image, and they will connect.
That might be something you want to put in the description.
Yeah, we should have.
Man. Yeah. Probably should have thought about that.
It says it in the dark, in the gold letters on the dark background. That's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Look, RJ, this is our first time doing this, man. You act like we know what we're doing.
The font's cool. The color's great. But when the letters get that small,
yeah,
right over because you're like Joe Wills variant cover and some text. Here's what I'm saying.
Get your magnifying glass. Zoom in.
The next one, the next campaign is going to be so much better. Hey, but by the way, I just want to put this out there. Thanks to Jalapeno Milk, we're over $5,000.
Oh, wow. Wow, man. That is awesome. Thank you, Jalapeno, man. That is incredible. Even though you're none of the flavor, but we definitely appreciate your contribution. Getting over 5,000 on day 5 is wonderful because then
amazing.
That's going to help. Yeah, so we've got what, $990 to go.
$990. Yes.
Yeah, so that I mean,
Didn't you start off with like 1,100 to go? Yes.
Something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
something like that. I think
Jimmy
that's what you
Philpott,
said. Yeah, I think you pointed out
It was
something.
1,100. So now you're not. Hey, this I might actually have a future at this. So if you don't like anybody's artwork on those covers, first of all, what's wrong with you? But you can get this blank cover. Nobody's picking that for some reason. Probably because of no conventions right now.
Yeah, there could be that. And most of the people that are backing are mostly, they're fans. And hello to Ikathis, who is he's one of our viewers. He's one of our supporters. So it's great you followed us here, man. Give a subscription to Critical Blast. You guys, RJ's a great guy, so showing some love. Appreciate that. But the blank cover is because most of the people backing us are fans, and they love the genre. But sketch covers are primarily, I think you would think of an artist would buy it to do commissions on. But if you're not an artist, you still want to buy this. Take it to your favorite artist. Get that favorite artist who we didn't have on the cover and get them to do a DragonRage for you. Get them to draw Nuri.
Exactly. Look, Jimmy is not telling the truth right now. Jimmy is not telling the truth. I want to set the record straight about that sketch cover. That's really because we know that Jimmy's wife, the future wife, is she? When are you guys getting married? It's
November,
soon,
next
right?
month.
November. Yeah. The lovely Anna Havana. Everybody wants the Anna Havana variant cover.
Yeah.
It promises to be amazing.
Yeah.
So Jimmy, I've got to ask. I know it's a stupid question, but a precedent's been set. The color cover has the color comic. The black and white cover has the black and white comic. Are these pages blank?
Yeah.
Absolutely blank. You have to draw in your own pictures.
I will send you the script. Yeah. You draw your own comic.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. No, but I asked because my son actually does have a Superman comic that's blank cover and blank throughout the interiors, and we still paid $4.99 for it.
Wow.
We paid $4.99 for it because there was an artist in the store, and he drew the cover on it, and it was his birthday, so he had Superman holding a birthday cake with 11 candles on it.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm like, well, now we got to take it to conventions, and what you do is you write a story that's 22 pages long, and you have an artist do a different page inside it and make your comic book. And there hasn't been a convention since.
Well, next year you need to get this blank cover, RJ, for your son, so that next year we'll draw a dragon blowing out the birthday candles.
Lighting
cake. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
He's more of an Archie reader. He'd probably be a good dragon reader. He doesn't like superheroes for some reason.
I didn't either when I was a kid.
What's that?
I when I was a kid, I very rarely read superhero comics. I read mostly like Tomb of Dracula, Werewolf by Night, Ghost Rider. I was reading all the horror comics, and it could be like even Little Devil, what were those, Harvey?
Hot Stuff.
Yeah, Hot Stuff. That's what it was. Yeah, that's what I read. I read all the monster stuff. I very rarely ever read superhero comics.
Yeah, he's grabbed my Afterlife with Archie. Graphic novel. He wants to read Riverdale. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I read Riverdale. You can't watch it.
That's another one that, like when Dave was picking on me, like I don't go and read the books. I watch the movies. And Riverdale, episode 1, he's out there on the lake with a teacher, and I went, "This isn't the Archie I remember."
No,
he's out on the lake with Miss Grundy.
Yeah,
that wasn't the Miss Grundy I remember.
Yeah,
and since then, I mean, Betty's father's a serial killer. They've gone into an organ harvesting cult. Somebody killed Jughead, but he didn't really die. So, but they kept him dead so they could hunt down the killers in a prep school. It's been dark and bizarre. Oh, Mr. Lodge is a mob boss. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's weird.
Thanks for not starting out with the whole spoiler alert.
No.
But
you don't know by now. It's 4 years in. Come on. Yeah, Rosebud was the name of his sled. Sorry.
Yeah.
So here's the Virgin David Finch cover. I hate that name because if it's the Virgin cover, then that means that by applying your logo on it, you've effed it up. This
Fair.
is the logoless cover. This is the I don't know, the artist master, the master cover.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the
Not as
Virgin
sexy.
cover. It's the Virgin, so that you can offer it up and sacrifice it to the dragon.
Good move, Jimmy.
3 people have claimed that. I'm not a big fan of Virgin covers, period, for my own collection, because I'm like, first time I saw one, I'm like, okay, but this is a beautiful picture of Batman. I opened it up. This isn't Batman. This is like, Justice League, or one of the titles that I didn't read at the time. But the Virgin cover was like, yeah, I don't buy the covers. I buy the books. Covers are nice. It would have made a great printed, framed print, but and I had to turn the thing over, look on the back to see what the book actually was. I like looking at the book and saying, yeah, that's DragonRage, #1, right up there in the upper right-hand corner, as God intended it.
Logo and all, just the way God intended.
That's right.
Exactly. It's got a date underneath of it. If it's a real comic, it's going to say February 2021 in the little box.
Yeah. That's what the voices in Dave's head were telling them, that he should have done that, but we didn't listen to them.
Yeah.
We listened. They wrote DragonRage, really. If we listen to the story Dave told earlier about how he wrote DragonRage.
Yeah, it's pretty much the voices in my head. They speak to me, and then I tell the story. That's kind of how it goes. I'm not on my. As soon as I start my meds again, nothing's ever going to get written.
When the voices are gone, yeah. No, don't take your meds. You need the voices. Now that's an actual good writing treatment, though. For before you write something, is let the voices talk. One of the things I've been told, and I've done it before, is sit down and do a 10-question interview with your character, and just ask them these questions, and then let your character come out and answer what they would do in that situation, and just it may have nothing to do with the book, but you get to know the character, and that way, when you do get to new situations in the book, you know how they would respond.
It's kind of the same thing when you're an artist, because I'm also telling a story, but I'm telling a story visually. So I do the same thing. I live in that world. I pretend that I'm in this world with Nuri. What would this village look like? What type of clothes? What kind of character is Nuri? Body language, gestures. So it's kind of the same thing for an artist. We play make believe too.
Well, yeah, I want to say I did something different with the writing of this one, because a lot of times, previously writing the script, I would be so rigid about the way that I, went about it. And sometimes it sucks all the life out of the story. But, a lot when you first try to begin to write comics and you start buying the books about them and what to do, they talk about the story arcs and they talk about the story structure and then how to develop your characters. And this is the first time that I ever sat down and just said, I've learned all of that. I've kind of done all of that. I want to do something different this time. And I just sat down and started writing, and just to see what would come out. And I found that it was very freeing. It was a lot more refreshing just to sit down and put it out there and let the characters talk to me for a change. And I think it made for a much better story.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works. That's a valid technique. Neil Gaiman tells the story of, Neil Gaiman and Dave McKean worked on Sandman for the entire run. Dave was always doing the covers and Neil was writing, but they did a story together once, and the story was that Dave McKean was a very, very structured, write a summary, be very detailed in your structure before you actually get to the story. And Neil was like, okay, we got these 5 characters, throw them on the stage, say go, and see what they do. And they drove each other nuts trying to get that done. But it's sometimes you just got to put them on the stage and say fire and see how they run.
Yeah, and get out of their way, right? And let them tell the story that they want to tell. Because I don't know if you were a beginning writer, if you've never written before. I don't know that it might work for you, but maybe it does. I think if you've written before, and if you find yourself, painting yourself into the same corners, that's exactly the way to do it. Just kind of trust your instincts. Stop having id lock and take that editor out of the room and just start writing.
Yeah, well, that's every Destroyer book I write, is because I want to have a villain that's clever enough and deadly enough to be a villain, and then I've got to have the hero survive it. So I'm like, okay, no, you're really going to die here now. Hey, you better get yourself out. and so surprisingly, he always does. I haven't had yet to pull the Kurt Vonnegut trick, which I think was in Breakfast of Champions. I don't know if you're familiar with that story, but apparently they did the movie, and I don't know. I didn't see the movie with Bruce Willis to see how they did it there. But at one point, he had written the characters into such a corner that he literally pulled God from the machine. He wrote himself into the story. It's like, "Hi, my name's Kurt Vonnegut. I want to tell you all that your character's in my story, and I have completely effed this up. And to get you out of this, I'm going to have to make an editorial decision at this moment that this thing didn't happen, and you now have a gun," and something to that effect. And then he wrote himself out of the story, and the story continued from that point forward. But Kurt Vonnegut was the only one who could probably get away with that. I don't think I'm going to try it. Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison did it with Animal Man.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
So you just have to take the right drugs.
Yeah.
Now here's the deal. Here's the Wills Reyes cover combo. And
Yes.
if math is correct, one of these guys was 20 and one was 25, and you guys have cut $5 off of this thing for this deal.
Yeah, you're actually really. No. Actually, if you're wondering, Dave Philpott's mic is getting a little static, so he's logging out, logging back in, and see if that'll correct the issue.
I did notice that, but I was able to hear him, so I was letting him go.
Yeah, so he's gonna work on that real quick. But yeah, so your math is spot on. It is $5 less. You do save some money, and you save on shipping. We the fans out there, those that were wanting to buy it, asked for this combo, and we created a tier specifically for them.
Combos are great, and a 2-book combo is good. A retailer combo is even better. If you're gonna, appeal to the retailer, say, "Hey, you want 5 of these, 10 of these? Cut that shipping down." Because I'm sure they could probably get a hold of you and work out a secret tier of some kind if they wanted. But
Yeah.
it would look great on a shelf.
This is primarily to go directly to the consumer. We have the consumer in mind. We're not, against retailers, but this really isn't for specifically, with the retailers up front. This is that we put the consumer up front. We want to go directly to them. But we're, if there are retailers out there and they do want to contact us, we can definitely create a tier for them, a secret tier, or however they want to work that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this Nuri curled up here in all of the new? I guess it is. There's the Funky Fox.
Funky Fox, that's right.
Funky Fox, that's him. Yes, that's Nuri. So what happens is Nuri transforms into this dragon, but she does have this very kind of unique style of transformation. It's not like the lycanthropy you see from man to werewolf, or it isn't that type of transition that you see, but it's also not this big bright light and magically she has her clothes back on. So when she transforms, she can't, it doesn't have these big, long, stretchy shorts that just magically cover her, bottom.
Yeah. Shouldn't have Beast Boy's costume.
No.
Yeah, Beast Boy. Yeah,
Unstable molecules.
So there is, to answer your question, there is slight nudity, but it is like network television nudity. It isn't gratuitous.
Yeah.
We're not putting in cheesecake. We're not trying to hypersexualize this female character in order to sell a book.
It's important to the story.
It really is. It's actually part of the story.
Well, it makes sense because, how else does she turn into a dragon, turn back? It's like, again, her clothing's not going to be able to do that with her. And I just thought it made the most sense. I figured, too, she can turn into a dragon. At this point, she doesn't care about being naked. Who's going to tell her to cover up?
Yeah. That's like in the, I don't know if you've seen the Teen Titans DC streaming show, but every time Beast Boy has to change, he has to run around the corner and pull all his clothes off. So he does get naked in the show. They don't go with the.
Is that show any good?
The first 2 seasons I've watched have been okay. First season less so. First season really dragged, but then that second season, other than the guy they got to play Bruce Wayne, and they would never, show him as Batman.
Right.
It's okay. The second season, again, like I said, better than the first. You saw the stills, of course, when it was coming out, and you're like, oh my God, did Huggy Bear give Starfire a fur coat and
right
into his harem? That got passed. That's done and gone with. She's got a much better look now. Jason Todd is in there as the Robin costumes are cool. The Wonder Girl costume is good. I think she got hurt like hurt to death, kind of, sort of.
Right.
A lot of blood, a lot of F-bombs.
Okay, I got you. So is it like Doom Patrol?
Yeah. It's got 95% of the F-bombs of Doom Patrol.
Gotcha. Okay.
Love
Doom Patrol.
Clip goes on a rant.
I thought you were going to say I love F-bombs.
Like, the ticker just
love F-bombs. Yeah. Our comic doesn't have any F-bombs. I just want to put that out there. We have what do you say, Jimmy? You think it's like a PG, maybe 13, not even a PG-13, maybe?
Yeah, maybe not even PG-13.
I haven't seen anything 13 yet in the artwork I've seen. That you might be surprised me with stuff later.
Very tasteful nudity.
Yeah.
Nudity, fantasy violence, kid stuff.
And it's not just Nuri you see naked. There's also Drago, who there's a scene where something does happen with him, and we discover one of his abilities, and so it becomes naked because of that.
Yeah. Oh, and Jack's naked. Jack's the Fennec Fox.
Yeah, and a lot of naked dragons.
Yeah. A lot of naked dragons, a lot of naked fox. Well, he's wearing a fur coat.
It's true.
So
yeah,
that doesn't really count. But yeah, I mean, I grew up reading Mike Grell's Warlord. So
Oh yeah.
So this is Jason's got it right here. 80s PG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's up, Jason?
Yeah, Jason Duran, man. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate that, man. Give RJ a like and a subscribe, man.
We love all our. Thank you for that. Yes. And you know, when you go to bed tonight, just click one of our playlists and let it go in the background. Just go to bed. Those hours tick up.
The same thing you do over at our channel. So no different.
Yeah, but all those Mike Grell Warlord stories were fantastic. I got to talk to Mike Grell a couple of years ago. Did an interview with him. That was fun to talk. But I remember asking my dad when I was my son's age. My son's going to be 13 at the end of this year, this month. And this is back when comics were, again, when all ages comics weren't a thing. Yeah, there was Richie Rich, but you know, all ages didn't mean you had to go read the Teeny Titans or anything else. All ages meant you picked up the book off the shelf and you read it. It was good for everybody. Mm-hmm. My dad was 40 and reading, you know, Jonah Hex, and I was 13 and reading the same Jonah Hex, and it was entertaining for an adult. It was entertaining for the kid, and the adults didn't have to worry about the kids reading it. But I would ask him about those costumes in Warlord. It's like, Dad, what's holding this bikini top and loincloth on her? And my dad, who's not a comic book fan, showed me so much wisdom in one single answer. Ink.
Yeah, ink. Yeah.
Held on like makes sense.
I do like the Mike Grell Sable that he had. Oh, and I think going back to what you were saying, like before comics for kids were really this type of label, that was long before a comics code came around.
Before. Well, the comics code was applied when I was a kid, but you know, the comics code got rid of it so that they could tell adult stories, mature stories. And there were actually non-code books. I think John Sable was a non-code book because it was coming from who was doing that? Was that First?
First, maybe?
Yeah. I think it was First. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I, you know, they were adult stories, but they were important adult stories. I told Mike, he changed my life with one of his John Sable books. I was, you know, a teenager growing up in a thriving metropolis of 900 white people in the Midwest. And, you know, one of the worst things you could do to start a fight was call another guy gay. Teeth over something like that. And because there was you hear homophobia being used today as a word. Back then it was a fear. And it's like, if you knew that somebody was gay, you were literally like, you know, don't drop the soap. That's a thing. And he did this story where Mike Grell's story, John Sable, was going to take his girlfriend out somewhere. She's like, I can't go. Take my friend. He's not going to go with me. He's like, he's not going to go with you. What's he not like? You're not his type. What is he like? Short, fat, and dumpy? She's like, no, he likes tall, dark, and handsome. And now John is sitting there the way I would have been, you know, nervous around this guy the whole night because he knew he was gay. And they ended up, you know, the event, whatever it was that they went to. And the guy said, just because you're straight doesn't mean you hit on every woman you see, does it? And he's like, well, no. And he says, okay, well, I had a great time. And John just has this thing. So, you know what? So did I. And they shake hands and they're gone. I'm like, oh.
Well, the subtext to that answer was, do you hit on every girl that you see? When he said no, he meant only because I'm scared to hit on every girl. I want to hit on every girl I see, but I'm intimidated by a few.
Well, John Sable wasn't intimidated by any of them. The other thing I want out of John Sable's life is he had the shower with 4 heads on it and plants going, oh, I want that shower. I grow up. I haven't made enough money for that one yet, but I wanted that shower. But how we get on John Sable? Well, we were talking about costumes.
Mike Grell.
Mike Grell and Warlord. And Mike Grell is still out there drawing. And my God, get him to crowdfunded people. Go hit up Mike Grell to do a cover or something for you, please.
He's one of the reasons why I put so much line work into my black and white. I love the days of black and white artwork. Rudy Nebra, Mike Grail, Neil Adams. I love that stuff. Yeah.
The line work on this is beautiful too. And this is why I'm bringing up the bigger pictures for people to see. This is she's dragoning out here.
Did he do the Longbow Hunters?
Yes, he did.
That's right. Okay, I have that. That's right. That was him.
First painted comic book I think I ever had.
Mm-hmm.
That was a beautiful story. And he took a lot of flack for that too because of was it the Longbow Hunters? I think it was Green Arrow #1 after that he also did. He took a lot of flack for that because people thought that Black Canary had been raped when she had been tied up and tortured. And the thing was that she had been, but they had to walk it back and just say, no, she was just tortured. Like, no, she would have been, the way she was acting, and it was consistent with the story. It would have been a rape story. But even Mark Millar can't get away with rape stories because it triggers readers, and they're like, no, don't make your bad guys rapey. But they're bad guys. They do bad things. They can't do that. I was watching something, now I can't remember what it was, but there were bad guys who were like, one guy tried to do something, like, what the hell are you doing? Are you trying to get us all, do you know what'll happen if this goes viral? I'm like, never mind.
I watched the movie where they kidnapped this young lady, and then the guy is pulling a gun on her, and he says, hey man, we are not killers, we are just kidnappers. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, wow, okay.
How do you enforce this kidnapping without guns?
Yeah,
we kidnap you like the police in Britain. We'll stop, or I'll yell stop again.
Yeah. And I'll do it in that high pitched voice, and it'll really annoy you.
So here's that black and white artist proof, and that's a $50 and 18 out of 200. So this one's limited edition. Only 200 of these puppies are going to be birthed. Yeah. 18 people have gone for that. Smart. Because they're going to get to see your line work as well as David's. I almost called him Jimmy. I almost reversed it this time.
Jimmy Finch.
Jimmy the Finch. They're going to get to see his line work and your line work, which is again just gorgeous. Colors are beautiful. It's a beautiful finished product, but sometimes it washes out some of the work that went into the lines. And you can really appreciate the depth of the faces and the details in the background.
One of the things that I'm trying to encourage people is to bring back the days when inkers really cared about line work. When inkers were really using the line work to enhance the artwork and weren't just
talk amongst yourselves.
So if you get the black and white in there, you get to see the type of line work that I'm trying to bring back from the days that we saw in the 90s with the Scott Williams. Even before that, we had great guys like Terry Austin. They were just phenomenal inkers. And today, man, I don't know about you, Dave, but I'm starting to see these inkers slowly disappear.
Well, either that or they don't care. I remember, and I wish I could remember his name now, but he inked over Colleen Doran's pencils for Sandman. and he just absolutely tore it to shreds. It was like he really didn't care about the story at all.
Wow.
And it made her artwork look so bad. And people commented about it later. And he's a respected inker, and I can't remember his name now, but it was garbage. I mean, it looked like I did it. And so, but I know what you're saying, because like John Byrne, for example, for so long, I loved his artwork. And then when I saw some of Terry Austin's work on another artist, I saw little techniques and things that I thought was John Byrne, but it had been, Austin's little, I guess, quirks all along. And that's when I first started realizing, wait a second, the inker really does bring a lot to the table here.
Oh yeah.
Not just a tracer.
Yeah.
I bring the word of the God.
Wow.
This is when I was in college. These were being sold all the time. These portfolio things.
Yeah.
I don't see them anymore. This was $18, which meant I didn't eat for 2 days. Back in the 80s. That's $18 was real money.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm searching. So if anybody has, I'm looking for that portfolio one from Rudy Nebra. That's the one. That's my dream, man. It's on my bucket list.
You want to talk ink line work?
Yeah.
Perez. Yeah.
Wow.
The detail he would put into stuff is just.
God.
This was, of course, all his Batman. I think it was Lonely Place of Dying.
God.
It doesn't really say that it is Lonely Place of Dying. It's Batman and Teen Titans. I'm forwarding through a bunch of these here because I would just hold them up all night. But
Oh yeah, I like that.
I've always meant to get them framed. He would. This is what gets me. He doesn't zip-a-tone. Okay, we're going to take the brand thing off of here a little bit. He didn't zip-a-tone any of this. He draws every single one of these windows when he draws a city. Do you get into that kind of detail, Jimmy, when you're drawing background?
Yeah, I get carried away. I'm digital, so which means I can zoom in even further, or put even little minor details. So I try not to hyper focus on it, but it is kind of my weakness. I do put that in there. God, I love that. I love the textures that he's doing on those clouds, man.
And it got rain soaked across the whole picture here.
I wouldn't be surprised you could actually read that newspaper. There's actual articles written in it.
There's an actual article.
It's a ledger.
Yeah.
There's entries in all the ledgers here. Trying to find the last piece in here. But yeah, just here's a George Perez Joker. You don't see that too often.
Wow.
That's cool.
Okay, this one is actually a landscape shot.
Oh yeah.
But just the leaves in the tree.
I will be right back. I got somebody at my front door. Hang on.
Is that a Batman face too in the tree right there? What face is that?
It actually is. Good eye. There's a Batman and a Robin in the trees.
Right.
As just kind of hidden back there.
Yeah, so I love Perez, and I love Phil Jimenez, who reminds me so much of Perez. A lot of the things that he does, I think that his work on the Invisibles really elevated that book to something.
I said that he's like the love child of the lost love child of George Perez. All those windows as the bat signal is going over these skyscrapers and they're swinging through it. It looks like this is now the year one Robin, but I was like, how do you not give yourself a nervous breakdown?
That's crazy.
Doing this in a picture like this. This is way too many windows to draw, Jimmy.
Oh God, I love the way he reversed that image because it just makes Batman and Robin pop right out on that page. God, that's beautiful. This is his use of black and white. But I've got the beautiful Anna Havana, poor Anna Havana. This is who joins me on my stream, my beautiful other half. You got over here. There she is.
You're going to do the sketch covers.
Yes.
Oh, he's asking if you're going to do the sketch cover.
No.
Yes, you are.
Draw.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Everybody wants it, Anna.
And there's the beautiful Penny.
Oh,
look at her. She's putting her paw up here. Look at this. Look at this wonderful support that I get.
We're his family.
You know what? If you can't get a sketch cover, Jimmy, think about this now, because Dynamite does a good market on this. Nuri cosplay cover.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. That would be nice.
That would be
Does
cool.
that mean naked? Is that what that is?
Oh,
The one where she's laying down. Yeah.
No, that would be very cool, man, to see people cosplaying.
There's people naked.
look. Nuri's not. See, she's wearing stuff.
Mhm.
You just
Wearing little cheats and stuff.
I'll tell you what, if you really want to do something, if you really want to elevate your game, have them cosplay as Nuri as a dragon.
Mm.
Ooh.
that. I've seen some dinosaur cosplays that are pretty knockout. So dragon would be far above
We
that.
do have a dragon mask available for backers
That's right.
on the
There's a-
campaign.
Oh, the mask. That's right. That's right there. I seriously wanted to find somebody that does these and just take a shot of my lower face and have it printed on the mask,
Mm-hmm.
and then just wear my face. So people say, "Hey, you're not wearing a." Oh, never mind. Macaulay Culkin. Blanked on name. He did that on Twitter 2 days ago. He had the Macaulay Culkin
Yeah.
face, and he's wearing it on his adult head, and it was the freakiest thing in the world.
It's pretty creepy.
But it worked.
Jimmy, you and I should do that. We should wear each other's face, lower half of our faces.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would definitely do that. That'd be cool. That might increase my credit score.
I don't need a mask. I want a tattoo. I want a full body tattoo of myself, only taller.
Yeah, and more muscular. That'd be sweet.
Can you draw some abs in here? That would work. That $50 artist proof black and white comic color backup story. How many pages are we talking about? I think you've mentioned it, but
It's a 32-page comic, and with a 5-page backup story. So it's actually a 22-page story. You're also going to get the gallery from other artists. You're going to get fan art, and then you get the 5-page bonus story. So it's
almost 40 pages altogether.
well, no, 32 total altogether. It's a 32-page comic. But
I got you.
yeah.
So 32 pages. And you're gonna stretch goal that out any? Make David have to come up with fill in some scenes.
Well, I mean that those are great and they're good ideas, but the thing is, we don't want to make the fans wait. I want them to. I'm excited. I can't wait for them to read DragonRage because that's when they're going to fall in love with it. I mean, the artwork is I think I'm grateful people like it. It's it seems to bring people in, but what's going to keep our readers and keep people coming back is going to be that story. He's very talented.
And this is going to be an ongoing then, because I mean, 22 pages, you can't tell a whole one-shot story with that. That's a lead-in. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, and now this is when crowdfunding and the Comicsgate and the non-Comicsgate, just crowdfunding in general, started up. One of the first people I talked to who did this was Tim Lim, and I was like, "How can you keep this going on a regular basis with an ongoing story at the price points that are set and the time duration, that the time intervals between books? I mean, how can you keep people's interest?" So with that in mind, what are you thinking of when the second issue comes out as a date? I mean, are you going to try and hit this every 6 months or every 8 months? Or
Directly after that, I hand over after my art chores, and then I hand it over to the colorist to color, and then I have the letterer working on that, putting it together. I'm going to jump on issue 2, start penciling out layouts. I'm the graphic designer right now who's putting together the entire book. It's all done in-house right here, all the graphics. So I will complete that, and then we'll go right into issue number 2. And what's going to help us get right into issue number 2 is if we can get past that 6,000 goal. We have to get at least another $2,000 together so that we can pay the colorist for the next issue and get DragonRage out.
and we are currently still sitting at. If it's moved anymore and nobody's told me, I'm taking credit for it. But it hasn't. So I will jump back down here to whatever.
I mean, it's sometimes with Indiegogo, sometimes it I guess it has to clear some funds first, depending on how people are paying for it. We had one guy came on a show and he said, "I'm number 100," but it kept showing us 98 through the whole night. The next morning, sure enough, he was number 100. It just took Indiegogo that long for it to update.
I like Indiegogo over Kickstarter because when I go into Indiegogo, I say, take my money. They do. I've got a note here. A note. I got many stick-up notes. My desk is nothing but sticky notes because I'm like, like early onset dementia or something here. I'm like, what was I doing? Oh yeah, going to the bathroom. I remember. Now I better get there. It's like, I need to have $12 minimum in PayPal on October 30th because a Kickstarter is going to take money out that I told them to take a month and a half ago.
Oh,
I don't want to forget it. Indiegogo takes it now. Kickstarter takes it when it hits funding. It's hit funding. It runs its course on October 30th. I'm like, okay, make sure the money's in my PayPal account on that day.
Yeah. That would be so hard to go in it because then you really couldn't go in and back all the books that you want because then they're gonna, they're all gonna fund at different times, and then that's gonna overdraft a lot of people. If
I look at my PayPal, I'm like, if I have money in my PayPal, I have money in my PayPal, and I'll use it right now. But if you're going to tell me you're going to take it out in a month and a half or 60 days from now,
I wouldn't want to be responsible for creating an overdraft. I mean, it kind of leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, and they might associate your project with the fact that they can't pay their bills now.
Oh, well, yeah, it would be even worse if it wasn't PayPal, if it was going to your checking account and it caused an overdraft. That would be very, very bad.
Yeah.
With PayPal, it's just like, nope, we're not giving you the money. Oh, look, you didn't fund now because, this didn't give you the money you saved.
Well, I have my PayPal set up where it can, if I don't have it in PayPal, it'll ask me to grab it from my checking account. So
it won't ask me to, but if I'm not there to ask, like today I ordered something off Amazon. I've got both my PayPal card and my bank card tied to Amazon. Well, it defaults to my PayPal card. And I went in, I said, okay, change it to my bank card, take the shipping off. Oh, wait, I want to put something else in my cart. Got out, went back in, added it, forgot to change the card again from the default. And it went my PayPal, and then like an hour later, PayPal's like, yeah, we didn't pay this because you don't have that much money in here. And Amazon said, your card was rejected. So I had to go in and switch it around again. So it won't just automatically pull from my bank account. If you tie it to a credit card, it will.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you tie it.
Credit card, no problem. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at, and I'm trying to share that back out again, the Dragon Clan, all 4 covers. Jimmy Reyes, the Wills cover, the Finch cover, and Finch Virgin cover. That's $25 each. So you.
Well, 30 and 40 were the Day Finch covers.
Right. But.
So you're saving about $15.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've been knocked down to like $25 each if you average it across the.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying. You're getting them at $25 each.
Exactly, because I knew they were 30 and 40. I was like, this is the better deal for those. Because if you get the David Finch covers and you put the other 2 guys up on eBay and get $30 off of them.
Yeah, we did a soft launch the day before we went to the general population. So we did a soft launch for all our viewers. They got to go in there, and based on their response and what they asked for this. They didn't ask for the discount. They just said we want all 4 covers in one tier. We thought we'd go a step above, and we brought it down to $15, to save it for them. Make it a little more appealing.
Yeah, but you can get all 3 Finch covers for $120. This is the Virgin, the regular, and the artist edition, the black and white.
Yeah, the incentive in there is that limited artist edition. So the price isn't marked down, but you do save in shipping. You don't have to go in and back 3 different tiers. You just get them all in one tier, and you save yourself on shipping.
There you go. Because shipping, especially international shipping, that's what crowdfunders first found will kill you.
Oh yeah, we hear the horror stories about it, what the amounts are, and we're like, "Ooh, yeah, maybe we should have made our goal at 20,000." Well, 6,000 a ship to create the book, and the rest.
There's ways around it, and people are discovering it. I think one of the things I always suggested was, you find different printers.
Mm-hmm.
You find a printer in Europe, and then you have your covers printed domestically to whatever country you're in, I guess. Here in the United States, you would have your covers printed. They go to Jimmy. He signs all the covers, then he ships them in one package to the printer in Europe, one time international fee, and says, bind these to here and then distribute locally from you to your European people and just pay domestic shipping rates. I do this. I throw ideas out there. I don't do anything. I just, tell people how they should do it.
Yeah. Well, that's good management.
Yeah, I'm just delegating.
Yeah. You're like Mo from the Three Stooges.
Exactly. Oh, white guy, eh?
But we're learning as we're going, and so many people that have done crowdfunded books that have been very successful out there have reached out to us and said, "Hey, we'd like to offer a little bit of advice. We saw your campaign. We'd like to suggest a few things." So we've listened and we've made adjustments and changes.
And that's the best thing about crowdfunding in the environment we're in, is that everybody is learning a different lesson and passing it on to everyone else. When you get your second campaign up, you're going to do things differently, and you're going to have learned something that they haven't figured out yet, and you're going to be passing it on to them. It's just it's just the nature of the community.
Jimmy, can you imagine if we knew what we were doing? We'd be able to fund a movie.
Yeah, I know.
Your movie deal already.
God. Yeah, there's already interest. People are really interested, reaching out to us. We had another company that said, "Hey, we want to do some merchandise on it." But I'm like, well, the clothing stuff's already taken, but my ears are open, man. My ears are up. I'm listening. So who knows?
So you got some freebies that are coming out here for the right backers. The first 30 get free bonus goodies. That's buttons. Got mine. Stickers and trading cards. The next 31 to 200 get a free DragonRage pre-launch edition collector's trading card. That would be this one we're looking at here with Drago.
Yes, Drago.
Drago.
Yeah, it's Spanish. You got to roll it.
Prego, it's in there.
It's almost like Prego, yeah. It's Drago.
Prego. He's a jarred sauce.
Well, what we did was, because this is our first time out there, and we know we have to fulfill. So what we did was, and you're well aware of this, RJ, is that we started giving away freebies. So we put a secret code to viewers that watch our stream. They would go to a secret link, and they would go to this link, fill out the form, and then we would send them out and fulfill their orders and send them out free. And Dave and I paid for everything. We paid for the creation of these the merchandise and for all the shipping. So it gave us it got us used to what type of fulfillments that we had to do and create a system. So we've got that a little experience in that. So when we go to fulfill this, it's not going to be a complete shock.
There's that roll that beautiful bean footage of that DragonRage sticker.
Yeah,
that's the one that's on the back of my laptop.
Yeah,
nice. Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
It's not the laptop too. So basically, I just had this sitting in the square center of the laptop, so it looked, like Apple.
That's cool.
And then the lower left-hand corner, perfect spot for that DragonRage sticker. I put that on there, and my wife came in and said, "You just got the laptop." My old laptop is still sitting over here.
Yeah, I see what she was saying though. She's like, "You don't put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari. What are you doing?"
You just said, "Don't hate, woman."
This was by no means a Ferrari. She just thinks she doesn't like bumper stickers on. This is my old laptop. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I was kind of a sticker person. I love the Apple sticker on a PC. I think that's.
Yeah.
And then of course we had the bulletproof sticker. Bulletproof being. I don't know why I'm caring about that laptop. It doesn't boot anymore. I can just drop it. Bulletproof being this. Critical Blast Publishing's first hardcover YA superhero novel.
Wow.
Stephen J. Mitchell. About a kid who's 16, wakes up, finds out he's bulletproof. He's got the attention span of a ferret on pixie sticks, though, because he's got some attention deficit problems. So he needs his friends to help him focus. So that's what we do. We publish books and we critique stuff, and we've started talking to you guys over this past year here, and found that we like doing that a lot more. It's a lot less work. A lot less work to run a live stream and let other people talk.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at the add-ons here. Now here's the print sets. So we got the Finch Reyes print set. So these are what, 11 by 17. Yes, down here in the text.
Mhm.
Read the poster, RJ. So 11 by 17. That's a good size. I mean, that's this size here. This is.
Mhm.
And it's see, I went out and I bought personally for myself here in my home studio 20 by 30, and they just take up so much space in the wall. I would much rather have it at 11 by 17 because you can buy a inexpensive frame them and keep them much longer. So
Isn't it like a 30? It's not 20 by 30, but there's something bigger than 11 by 17, smaller than 20 by 30. It's basically it's the Walmart poster frame. If you walk through your Walmart, you see that swinging thing of frames. That size there, you can buy those poster frames for like $16, and they just kind of snap together and hang up. I do that because I'm cheap.
but that image that's up there, the Reyes image, that's only available through the print. It's not in the comic book or anywhere else.
The cover is it? That is very cool. Now, see, you got to get both these prints, and then you got to hang them on opposite facing walls.
Yeah, because they're two different opposing sides. It's pretty neat to have them. But if you look closely on the left side, it's actually Drago. Behind him is Nuri, the smaller dragon, and then there's a much larger, bigger dragon that's back there. So there's
another dragon involved here.
Yeah, another dragon involved. So it's really neat.
This picture with Nuri and this dragon here, that's also Nuri. This is symbolism, guys. This is metaphor in action, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
She's beside herself.
She is.
Yeah, and so the effect we tried to create was we had Andrew Dawhouse go through and he kind of ghosted that image of the dragon behind her. So it's kind of this spiritual image of it back there. And if you look under the belly of that dragon, Nuri is the only dragon that has this type of fiery burn that comes from her core.
Okay.
And because Nuri has this, she's got a very unique ability. Her transformation is going to be really neat. I think people are going to like it. And so we started playing around, practicing that effect. The other dragons, we either have two, kind of like we're thinking either going with the two different, what would you call that in their mouth? And the two chemicals react when they hit the oxygen in the air, or when they touch each other and it creates fire and flame. So, the other dragons don't have this particular type of nuclear reactor in their chest like Nuri with her fire.
Oh, that's cool. So she's got like a single source, and they've got two catalysts that come together.
Yeah.
Like salivary glands.
Right.
So there's going to be a mystery as to why she's different.
Yes.
It's going to go up to the fore.
We don't know what it is yet, but as soon as the voices in Dave's head tell us.
They told me.
Oh, they did. Oh, great.
Yeah.
This is why she's different. And
I
if you really, I hope you wrote it down.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of being a writer. Is you write things down.
Yeah.
And then you have to grow ego. To paraphrase Peter David, writers have to have a healthy amount of ego. We write things down that we think are so good and important that you should pay for the privilege of seeing what our thoughts are.
Yeah.
You can do that without ego. So, you don't have to be an egomaniac, but that's more for me than anybody else.
Yeah.
If you really want to cosplay Nuri, here is your dragon cloth face mask that you can do as an add-on.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is the kind of face mask where you got to get the little clip in the back, right?
It comes with, I think it comes with a clip, but it's the kind that actually loop behind your ear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because it didn't look. It looks like it got a loop on top and bottom there. So
right. No. It's actually folded behind the mask. When you pull it, it's actually kind of U-shaped.
I get it now.
And it's an actual cloth, so it's washable, and it's really good quality mask.
Yeah.
That's out there. So we're kind of going above and beyond with the quality, but I think it's gonna be worth it. For you want it to last. It's gonna be something that could be a collectible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you do, guys. I get this might be a bad idea, but you remember this thing here that I showed you, this little die cut thing,
right?
Oh, yeah.
You get your DragonRage logo on one of these, but you add white to it to come out to the sides and hook. so that this goes in the back of people's heads for the mask to hook on, and then the back of their head is advertising DragonRage, Cradle of Ember.
Oh yeah. The mask has page 1 and DragonRage in the front.
That's
Really
in the front.
small.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He said,
that's in the
look,
back.
he's saying that's in the front, man. We should advertise front and back, Jimmy. Get them coming and going.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Gotta put it,
going, like you said.
yeah, that way your followers, your literal followers can see DragonRage. Yeah.
That's right.
Always
thinking, man. I got you.
Yeah.
And here's the DragonRage crew neck T-shirt that you can also throw on as an add-on. And like you said, that doesn't show as a buyer on the top. It does show though in your funding level, right? I mean, if I bought a $20 book and I added on $500 worth of stuff, you funded $520, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It just doesn't publicly put the number up under there if it's an add-on. Only we see the number of how many people were interested in that perk.
Okay. And this is the David Finch cover.
Yeah.
The corner's cut off of here. Is that part of the print, or is that
It's part of the print. There's a bit of a cave that was there that he did. And that's so that it really draws your eye in and focus with the round shape of the neck of the dragon. And he continued that with the cave. It's all part of design to visually, draw your eye into Nuri with the sword.
Well, it works.
It's beautiful to look at. The shirt gets a lot of attention. So when you have it on, people, I know that people are going to stop you and ask you, where did you get that shirt?
Yeah. Ball caps and beanies. Somebody was paying attention to the Alterna streams. I can tell that now.
Well, we're friends, and so we've had Peter Samedi on our stream, and he's going to have us on his. And his beanies are very, very popular. A lot of people like to wear them, so we thought, you know what? We've got the P1 logo. People seem to really like it. I wear ball caps. I like them. I like beanies as well. So I thought, that's something we got to put out there. If not for anyone else, it's for me. I'm going to wear it.
Yeah, now see, that's something that I should be doing.
Right.
I went out and looked for ball caps, and I've got different places that I've bought the embroidered shirts for our team before with the logo on it, but I haven't really found anything ball cap or beanie that was cost effective for me. So I don't know what your add-ons, what the add-ons cost for this yet.
It's affordable. We are roughly about $5 to $10 below what you see on campaigns. We got a really, really good deal on this stuff, so we were able to roll that price forward. We could have kept them at the average price you see on campaigns to, really help us increase that fund. But we thought we want to try to give people breaks and cuts. What it means for us is that we got to hustle more. We got to get out there and just put DragonRage in front of as many people as we can.
Well, you were smart. You were smart in getting the P1 logo on here instead of the DragonRage logo, because you'll be able to, you're going to have to buy quantity of this.
Yeah.
Make the break. And, you'll be able to put this on the next book, which may or may not be DragonRage. It'll just, this is our page 1 hat. If you want to always add on a page 1 hat. Peter's beanies are, Alterna beanies. They're not, Gods and Beers beanies and other stuff. So,
yeah.
When the book's over, you're stuck with all these hats.
Yeah. And this is just, we see a lot of people out there that wear a shirt that just says, Marvel on it. And so this is your way to show your support for P1, for page 1 comics. And at the same time, it's in pink. So it's unisex. I mean, guys can really rock it. Girls, can, just wear it.
I'm comfortable enough in my masculinity to wear salmon.
Yeah, it's very cosmopolitan of you.
Yeah, salmon. That's what they call the pink now for men.
Metrosexual.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I didn't get the $1,100 that I wanted to get tonight, but I brought it down to $990. I didn't do anything. I let you guys talk.
We got past the $5,000 mark, and that's
hey, Jalapeno came in, did a great job. Jalapeno Milk, man, thank you so much. And there were several others. We thank you guys so much. Yeah, you got us past that 5,000. That's awesome.
See, I get this little feel good thing in my chest here when I check. Obviously, there's all the stuff I bought. Yeah, my credit card number up there. No, thank goodness. Okay, so you can see the things that I've backed so far, and that's always a growing list. But I keep forgetting about this referrals tab. I think a lot of people forget about it because a lot of people, I think, when they share it, they're they just go up here and they copy the URL out of the stream and show it out there. But if you go to take the paperclip that's on the front page and you share that, Indiegogo knows that it was you who did it. And that way you can, come down here and look at stuff like, DragonRage, Cradle of Embers, $55. So I got one in there.
When we look at Indiegogo, the analytics and information on the back end, we can see the people that have sent out recommendations that came in through a referral.
That's cool.
It's a pretty popular thing. There's quite a bit of people that have come in through referrals.
Now, have you guys made use of the pages out there that track funding pages to say, hey, you're on track for this and you should hit this at this day, and if you don't, then you're probably not going to fund? Because I know there's somebody out there that does the analytics for that. I've seen Richard C. Meyer talks about it a lot.
BackerKit and all those, but we get information from Indiegogo themselves, and they give us a lot of this daily activities and predictions and stuff. So what campaign we're on, even though it's our first one, I think we could have done that. That's a smart move, but because we're day 5 and we're already, at 5,000 and we got another 1,000 to go, with still 25 days left.
You're going to fund.
Yeah, I'm very confident we're going to fund. Hopefully we go above. And the reason we need to go above is that we want to do much more. You're really trying to fund Page One comics, not really fund DragonRage.
Exactly. You're trying to turn this into a company.
Yes.
That can stand on its own. Do you think you'll ever get funded to the point of Page One, that is, not DragonRage, but Page One, to where you'll do a comic that says, we are now substantial enough of a company that we do not have to crowdfund this book. It's going straight into the Diamond catalog?
Well, to be honest, we've been received so warmly by the crowdfunding that we always want to keep something in the crowdfunding special for them. So with DragonRage, we're not trying to take that out into the mainstream. If comic stores are interested, they want it, we could create a tier for them, but it's always going to be something special through crowdfunding. So we want to keep that IP crowdfunding, but we will in the future create other IPs and then put those through the mainstream for a different market.
Yeah. So that, once Page One is self, is standing on its own, it doesn't need crowdfunding anymore. Then you could say, okay, Arachnid Tales, we're having somebody draw that and we paid them and we're shipping it off to the printer and it's going to the stores, and nobody funded it in this crowdfunding sense at all. You've gone the traditional route with it.
Yeah.
You want to do, because that's a pretty profitable way.
Yeah, the next book is Robotic Cockroaches. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what we said the other night, man. We might as well stick with it.
Yeah, we might really create that. I don't know. But we already do. We have other IPs out there. We have not out there, but we have South of Olympus. If you go to southofolympus.com, it takes you to Page One. We have Veil of Night, and we do have A Killer Like Me. Now, we don't have a writer on South of Olympus. We don't have a writer on A Killer Like Me yet, but I have access. Dave Philpott, wonderfully talented. Joe Ponder is an author and a writer, and he's expressed interest in South of Olympus. And now that I know you write, I didn't know you wrote. I had no idea I was coming over with a writer on here, and we're looking for that. We want to partner up and get more writers out there, more artists. That's the whole idea and the reason building Page One is to bring in people into the industry that other companies weren't taking a chance on.
Yeah, I mean, I've got several stories that I thought about. Well, that would make a decent graphic novel if I didn't want to pitch it as a novel to somebody. But again, I've watched crowdfunding writers have to shell out $6,000 first before they come. I'm like, you know what? No, not so much.
Well, see, that's what we're doing with Page One, is that we know that there are people out there who could be writers, and that they don't know how to do the artwork, or there's artists out there, but yet they don't know how to market and network. We're building that. We have that. We're going to create the business, all the marketing. So we're going to try to bring in people that work on our IPs. We're going to teach you how to hone your skills, get you exposure. I mean, guys like you, we don't need to teach their skill, but they need that exposure. And you can use our platform and our resources to get your work out there.
I know what I'm doing tonight. We've gone 2 hours here, and guys, honestly, I always go like just an hour and I run out of things to talk about. So this has been a really good chat. I don't know how long you guys have been bored by me being on here.
No, it's you know, to be honest, I really like it. It was nice to see two writers up here and you guys to have a shared interest and to talk about DragonRage from writer's perspective. It was really interesting.
It was nice to be able to just talk about writing. I mean, most of the time when we do our show, it's a lot of artists that come on, and if I start talking about writing, you see people.
Yeah,
So it's not.
I love the artists, but I could not get into a conversation about, well, you notice how we layered this, and then there's this, you know, we draw the eye here. I'm like, I saw a dragon standing next to a woman. She looked hot, and it was cool.
Man, Jimmy, we should have used that for the tagline.
I know.
Saw a dragon standing next to a woman. She was hot, and it was cool.
I've been selling it as telling everybody you're going to see a lot of dragon crack in it, you know, a lot of naked dragons. So
Yeah.
Don't stand under the dragon taint.
yeah, the
Dragon Taint. Yeah, that'll be the next title. Comes
Oh
out.
yeah.
Dragon Taint.
Rage. Dragon Taint.
That's where
We need to see the stickers.
Dragon Rage.
Right in the dragon's taint.
Yeah, Dragon Rage under the dragon's taint. That's it.
That would cause some dragon rage. Oh, all right. We've gone too far. So I'm going to gracefully exit us out of here. And David, Jimmy, so grateful that you guys were able to come on tonight and
Thank you.
share Dragon Rage with the viewers. We're going to. I run out of words. Yes, the link is right down here. His name is Jimmy Reyes. His name is David Philpott. I'm finally getting to learn how to talk after 2 hours.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
I'm getting it. I figured it out. Nobody named Jane came in.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
One day they're going to be in contest with something and it will work. And I'll be like, I was so smart to have those things at the ready. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate you coming out here tonight. Go out and back Dragon Rage. Follow the link down on in the description below because it's my referral link to them. Indiegogo gives me nothing, but it makes me feel good to know that you guys came from our chat to go out there and back Dragon Rage. Makes me feel like I did something worthwhile. And you guys will be funded probably by Sunday night. So it's all profit from there. More money, and more comics. So with that, thank you, everybody, and we are gone.
Hi. Thanks for stopping by for another Critical Blast video. The internet is a big place. We know there are lots of other places you could be other than here, and we appreciate you being here immensely. If you enjoyed this kind of content, we hope you'll return for more. If you click the subscribe button, you'll get a little notification of when we produce new video content. If you would like to help the channel out, there are many ways to do so. Just visiting our main hub, criticalblast.com, will do wonders. But if you're more of a show me the merchandise type of person, there are links in the description of this video to our t-shirt shop, as well as links to Amazon for the books we publish under the Critical Blast Publishing imprint, including the urban fantasy anthology Gods and Services and the YA superhero novel Bulletproof by Stephen J. Mitchell. Thanks again for visiting this video.